Hey paper crafters, thank you so much for joining me today. I love that you took the time to pop by my channel, check out the video that I've got going, and hopefully stay and poke around a little bit. I'm really excited to be able to offer some videos now and then and share my love of paper crafting. So I hope you find something that you enjoy and come back to see me another time. Bye-bye. Hey paper crafting friends, thanks for tuning in today. Today I'm going to be focusing on a two-page layout created with pages from this Watercolor Garden Stack. This is from Die Cuts with a View, and I did feature this stack in an earlier video, and I kind of showed how I would take it apart and put it into project sets. So I will link that in if that's a video that you're interested in seeing. It might be a good way to get started if you've got this stack at home. So let me show you the pages that we're going to be focusing on today. So I did pull out everything that has to do with these little bees. Absolutely love these papers. And then there were some cute little sentiment cards that were included as well. So I've got You're the Bee's Knees, Let It Be Humble, You're Sweet as Honey, and then Be Beautiful. Okay. And then a couple of these, I will probably use something from both sides. So there's this one that's got just fun little bees all over it. And then the back side is really like honeycomb with this fun gold accent. We've got this fun floral brown. Probably won't use the back side. It brings in some turquoise, and I don't think that's really going to work for what I'm planning today. And then there's this fun beehive one with lots of flowers. It's a really cute print. And then the back side of it is just this kind of lovely designed yellow. I think they call that batik, if I remember correctly. So I think my background papers today are just going to be a solid white. And I am ready to get a layout set up, and we'll see what we can do with this. Thanks for being here today. All right, don't let this craziness that you can see scare you. I have a method to my madness. I am trying to figure out the best way to use this really fun honeycomb paper. And what I want to do is cut it along these gold lines into some shapes that will kind of look like honeycomb on the edges of my pages. I hope that makes sense. So I've marked the spots that I kind of want to put clumps of it, and I've marked it with hexagons just because if you know me, you know I really like to lay my designs out so I can get an overall visual. It helps me place my photo mats, helps me just kind of feel the spacing and see if it's coming together the way that I'm happy. So far, so good. So this is the hexagon set that came in one of the club kits. There's several different sizes. If you don't have these, don't fret. It's not that you cannot do this layout, because really I'm not even using the hexagons to do any cutting. They're really just there to help me visualize what I want to do, okay? So we've got the hexagons kind of coming in from the sides. I've got 4 4x6 photos. So I've got the 2 portrait style here, just kind of one up and then one on the opposite page down. I've got 2 landscape style, okay, and then the 2 4x4s. So I really like to get as many pictures as I can on a page. I'm really comfortable with this 6. That'll be a nice layout, okay. This Freedom 5 template just was kind of a fun shape. I was looking for something that would feel a little bit beehive-ish and would work really well with the sentiment card that I want to do. So I think that this size is going to be great. This is Tiny Notations 5T, and really it's just a strip with dovetailed edges. Okay, so again, it's nice to be able to use something like this to lay it out and get some ideas. But if you have ever cut a dovetail before, you know how simple it is with or without the template. I'll show you that in just a second, just in case that's not something that you've seen. Okay, but a couple of these, I'm thinking here and up here. This sweet pea is a little bit taller and chunkier than I want, but it was a good placeholder. So I am thinking I'll use a couple of those narrow tags here and here. And then this darling bee is from the Country template set. Okay, so this is Country 1, and I'm picturing more than one of these bees. So it may be like 1, 2, 3, something like that. So this is truly a pretty simple layout, but I think it's just going to be fun and cute and just kind of a sweet layout, kind of summery, springy. So we'll see. I am going to get started cutting those honeycomb pieces, and I'll pop on and show you how that's going, and then I'll show you the dovetailing trick. Otherwise, I think most of this is going to come together really easily today. Here we go. Okay, honeycomb first. This was so fun. And again, this is the hexagons were just here to hold the idea. So I went ahead and just cut along those lines to get a shape that I thought would be fun coming out of the corner of this layout. Okay, there's nothing, like I said, the hexagons were not even touched. Okay, just kind of continued with another piece here, and I just started in the corner of the page. That way that part's already done for me. Okay, and here's another little piece. So they kind of look like they would match up if you put them together. I think I'm going to put them on with some space between them, something like that. Okay, for the other side, I've got a few more. So one for up here in this corner, one coming in here from the side, and then a piece for across the top. So something like that. All right, so that was super fun, and I love that. And I ended up with a little bit of scrap left, which I might be able to use for a card. So I'm excited to see kind of how that comes together. I'm going to go ahead, let me get these photo mats cut. I think I'm going to use the brown floral for those, and I'll work on some of these little detail pieces, and I'll pop back on and layer those in for you. All right, so I'm just going to do a couple of quick pop-on tips real quick. One of them is if you are wanting to dovetail something. So I'm just cutting a little strip here, and say I wanted to create just a little pointy tag coming down, or I wanted to do something with maybe a little sentiment strip, and you don't want to use a template, here's my advice. Go right in the middle, okay? Cut it up as far as you want your dovetail to go in, so just right up the center, and then corner to middle, corner to middle. Done. Other side, right up the middle, corner to middle, corner to middle, and done. So it's just a real quick way to get a dovetailed edge on something if you don't want to mess with tracing it or whatnot. So hopefully you've seen that before, but if not, there's a quickie tip. The other thing I wanted to think about is how to embellish these fun little bees. So I pulled out some stickles, and this is just a gold that I have, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of bring in that gold touch like is in that honeycomb. So I think what I'm going to do is just outline the body. Of course, stickles is not an exact science, but, and then I'm just going to do some little stripies across the body like this. And for now, I'm going to leave it at that, and we'll see how that dries and if those end up being, you know, a cute addition or if it looks like too much. We'll see. You know, if it looks like it could use a little more, maybe I'll do something with the wing. I'm just going to wait and kind of check that out. Okay, so let me move this and we'll layer some things back in. Let me grab the photo mats first, just because they're a really big kind of block of color on here. So I did use the brown floral, and I just really like how that looks against the white and against that really beautiful yellow. So I think that's going to be a good choice. This layout just feels warm and, like I said, kind of summery. I like it. Okay, and here. Then I used that Freedom template to cut this Be Beautiful tag, and I just cut a piece slightly larger. It's funny, obviously from the top of my stack of paper, just to give that a little edge and a little bit more of a pop. So that's going to go here. I took 2 of the tags, so one of them says Let It Be, and it's got the BEE, of course, super cute. Thinking about that one up here. And then this other one says Be Humble, and I'm thinking about that one over here. So just trying to balance, right, those sentiments. I have a little on this page, a little on this page. I backed everything with that same yellow paper to give it that pop of color. And then I cut 3 of the bees. Now I have only gone through and done that gold accent just on the one that I just showed you. So these are not all cutesy yet, but we can get an idea of how that may end up coming together. When I go to attach these down, I will put them on like an elevated foam tape, and I'll just make sure that the part that is attached to the layout is adhered all the way down. I will keep the covering on the foam tape for any parts that are overlapping where a photo may go, and then I can attach that down later. And that just gives me that flexibility when I actually go to add my photos. So aside from maybe doing some little trailing, like with a journaling pen, I may give these a little flight path that's just kind of fun. I'd have to think about how I want to position them to be able to do that, but I think that little detail would add just another touch to the layout. But otherwise, this is how this one is going to come together. So remember to check at the end. That gives you a chance to see any other decisions I made and kind of see the finished product. Okay, I do have some pieces left, so I am going to design a couple more projects real quick. I think a couple of cards with the materials I have left. So if you want to stay tuned for that, I'm just going to pop back on and show you what I did. I think we'll just do 2 cards today, and you can think about those with your scraps if that's something you're interested in. All right, for these couple of cards, I just took one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I cut it at 5.5 inches so that I could create 2 card bases. Okay, and I just used a white cardstock. So I'm going to do one in a portrait style, one in a landscape style. And I did do just a tiny bit of inking around the edge. I love white, but sometimes white's too white. So, all right. So for the first one, I took another spot at that honeycomb paper. And remember, the back side of it is these cute little bees. So if you like that better, you could definitely use it. But I really love this honeycomb paper. So I cut this at 5 1/4 by 4. And then after I cut my photo mats, I had a 4 by 4 piece of this brown left. So for this one, I just cut a 2-inch strip. So this was 2 by 4, dovetailed the ends. I'm going to put that right here in the middle. And then I took the little jar from Sweet Pea. So this was from a card kit, but this fun little mason jar from Sweet Pea just fits so well on here, and it says "You're the bee's knees." I tied a little bit of twine around the top. Super simple, easy peasy. I'll elevate this with some foam tape, and that's just a cutie little card to share with somebody. Okay. For the second one, I used this paper that I had not gotten to for my layout. I didn't love this with the honeycomb, and I was so committed to that honeycomb paper that I just couldn't let it go. So for some reason, I did not like them as well together as I thought I would. So it's going to be a card front. Look at how sweet that is. And I took the other sentiment I had left. It says, "You're as sweet as honey." I just dovetailed the ends and then backed it with a little strip of the yellow. Okay. That's going to go down here at the bottom. And then I made just a 2-layer little bee. So I cut one using the country template, and then I made a little bit bigger version of it with what was left of that brown scrap, just so I could layer it. I will put a little bit of foam tape in between these 2 layers so the wings feel like they have a little elevation in between them. And I'm just going to do this little guy, probably popped off this way. And that way you can see some of the words that are on here. It says like, "Be yourself," "Sweet as honey." It starts to say "Beautiful you." So just a cute, again, very fast little card. I might use a little bit of something and give this a little flight trail. We'll see. But just using those scraps and those couple of leftover sentiment cards, just a quick way to create a couple of greeting cards to add to your collection and send off to somebody you love. So I hope that you got some good ideas today and that you enjoyed the time that you spent with me. As always, I appreciate you taking the time out, and I look forward to seeing you on my channel another time. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.